speak, right?
From laleo. What is the tense?
We have only learned 2 tenses. So it's imperfect.
Okay, you're on the right track.
Imperfect is the tense.
Yep. Why don't we parse the rest of the verb?
Alelo.
Elale is our
That
verb
one
here.
is our verb.
And the verb is laleo.
And it is
I gave you that one. That one's on the house.
that speak. I speak, he speaks.
Yes. So what voice, what
it
mood,
is-
what number?
Hold on. I have to look. My brain's not gonna work without it.
That is just fine.
Um,
I need a little device, like a little speaker to play Jeopardy music.
No.
Jeopardy.
Look faster, Nola. Okay. Okay, so it is second, you speak. It's second person, right?
Are you sure about that?
No, I'm not.
I'm
It's
not
an
either.
imperfect.
Hold on, I'm trying to. What?
This one is a contract verb, and so the ending there is not what it seems.
It's a contract verb and it's not what it seems.
It is.
What's funny though, Nola, is you actually translated the word basically correct. You got just about all of it right. So instinctually, you knew what it meant, which tells me you actually do understand what you're looking at. So don't get psyched out. You do know because you translated it right.
It's imperfect, active, third person, singular.
Imperfect, indicative, active, third person singular from laleo.
Yes.
You're right. That's exactly what it is. And with boldness, he was speaking the word. He was saying this thing, you could say, as I would translate that.
Hey, Mark 8:32, but then I looked it up because I was like, Mark 8:32 says, and he said this plainly, and Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him.
Yeah, there is a little bit of debate here. So it could be that we're getting a little ahead of ourselves.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Because I was
These
like,
questions are going to come up.
that's how I like tried to compare
So-
it.
This could be the direct object of laleo here. It could also be an adverbial usage of the accusative. So the accusative can also sort of indicate the manner, means, or extent of a verb. So that's an interpretive decision by the translator of that, of I assume the ESV.
Yeah.
And so he was speaking the word. Now, I don't remember what the rest of the context is. It could be saying he was saying this thing, or it could be that kind of, he was saying it. That's a very interesting interpretive reading there. I didn't realize they did that way. But yeah, that is something that can happen, so just be on the lookout for that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just compared it and I was like, that doesn't even seem right.
And also adjectives that occur in the accusative can also be used in the same way as nouns to kind of function as more than the direct object of a verb, which is why one time when I was refuting a heretic, he was like, adjectives don't modify verbs, that's bad grammar. And I was like, actually in Greek they can. It's like, why don't you go return your degree to the Cracker Jack box you got it out of? Your fake seminary you went to that didn't teach you
Fake.
Greek.
Seminary.
So,
Okay.
alrighty, who wants to take, by the way, good job, Nola.
That was.
Those tough parts.
just
Does
did it
everybody
out at the
understand
beginning.
what's going on with the ending here, laleo? Why is it elale when you would expect it might be elalen? Right? Does everybody understand what's going on there? If you don't, that's fine. I'll be happy to explain it.
Please explain it.
Okay, let's talk.
I only do these because I'm looking at it right here in the book.
Yeah,
And I had to
so
look.
you got the answers there. So, remember, right, we know that the third person ending, third person active indicative ending, is epsilon with a movable nu, right? And we know our lexical form is laleo, and so we have this particular epsilon here. And so what you've got going on is the movable nu has dropped off, and so now we've got the epsilon here has contracted with the epsilon of the imperfect active ending, and it has become the epsilon.
Thank you.
So that is where that came from.
An epsilon is an epsilon intelligence.
There you go. There you go. Plumbers,
Egghead intelligence.
egghead intelligence. You have a big spherical head.
Yes.
That, if you're wondering why my head looks the way it does, it's because I know the bowel trench. That's why it changed me. I came home one day and she was like, "What happened to my husband's beautiful, normal head? Why does he look like Humpty Dumpty?"
I did not say that.
All right, who wants to take number 2?
I'll try it.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Do or do not.
So is that ooks?
Ook.
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 Anthropois. Lale. Alatheo. So the verb is lale. From laleo, which is I speak.
That is what the word means, but what is it here? What is the parsing of this verb here? There is no escape. All must parse. All must parse.
The indicative imperfect.
Is it imperfect or is it present?
It's present
That's right, and why do you know that?
because you just
Oh,
Because
you
you
know
were-
better than that. What's missing?
oh, the augment.
There we go.
So
See, I knew it was in there. That beautiful brain you have.
would be third person singular.
That's right. Present active indicative, third person singular from laleo. He,
And
she, it speaks.
So it would be active.
Active. That's right.
So but is Allah is but.
That's right.
Theo is so it's God. And anthropois is no. That's a noun. So it would be dative,
That's right.
plural.
Correct.
So men or no,
Yep.
of the men.
It's dative.
Dative for the men.
For the men. To or for the men.
Okay, so
By them, among them.
and ook is not, isn't it?
That's right.
So not for the men. He speaks. But God, okay, so
But remember, what's the relationship with the dative there? With Theo.
Theo is the subject.
Not
No.
quite. You already know the subject. You got it right. He speaks. He says. Right.
Oh,
so
right,
you
it's
know the
implied in
subject.
the verb.
You know the subject. You got that part right. You got the first part right. Not for men. He speaks, but.
For God.
And better in this
He-
case would be to. But yes, that's.
He
that's
does
implied.
not speak for men, but for God.
Close enough. Close enough. I would say it's probably he does not speak to men, but to God, knowing the context. But based on what you have here, that's a viable translation. Yes.
Good job. That was a really hard
Yeah.
one.
Syntactically, it was a little tricky. So.
The
Yep.
verb.
Yeah, you're dealing with like essentially, two men and two God, both kind of like belonging adverbially to laleo. It's a
You need
little
Kleenex?
complicated.
There's some right there.
Maybe actually. Here, I'll get you a box out.
Don't go to the Tulip Festival.
Wasn't thinking of it. I prefer a different kind of tulip. 5 points. All right. So number 3, who wants to take that one?
My brain needs a break.
What is PMI 1 PL?
Present, middle, indicative, first person, plural.
Okay.
I parsed it. I parsed it for you.
Oh, I was parsing that.
Yeah, I gave the parsing on that for free. So pseudonymatha, we lie, so I gave you the translation. What does it mean? So I figured I'll make this one, I'll simplify it, make it a little easier, is what I thought. Because you haven't learned pseudomai. So, but it's a middle, so lying is a middle idea. Because you're involved in it. So somebody who has not gone yet. So we've had Adam, okay. Take number 3.
No, it's weak.
Should I just give you the box?
Maybe. Oh, it's been ever since I got back. Well, that was last
All right,
night.
you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go to the Tulip Festival before.
Or at least take a.
Take some Benadryl or
Be
something.
smart about it.
All right, Adam, but the Tulip Festival does not exempt you from answering
No,
the
it does
sentence
not.
that you have claimed.
So is that where we get the word pseudo from?
Yes.
So it's pseudometha?
Pseudos would be,
Oh, pseudometha.
So it's lie as in like to not tell the truth, not lie as in like to lie down.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, this is being deceptive, to be bad.
Yeah, because pseudo's like a lie, it's like a,
Yeah.
yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
All right,
So pseudometha, kai u, poi u men, tain elethian.
Raytheon.
Elethian. Where did that on come from?
You have an alpha at the end. Alethea.
Oh yeah, Elethian. Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, you're just testing me, I know.
Just making sure you know.
Yeah.
what I'm talking about.
That's good.
Okay, alright. Okay, let's parse the poiumen. Obviously that's poieo.
That's right.
So, obviously the O comes off, and you have the epsilon. Epsilon plus omicron is oo.
Look at that, going above and beyond, Adam. Here we go.
And then about the dinosaurs.
I have a T-Rex guy. That was funny. It works though, man.
It does,
works.
it does.
Painfully, it works. Okay, and then so obviously that's amen. So that would be, and there's no augment, so that'd be active, present, indicative, and that would be first person plural.
Good job.
Um,
Now, what's it mean?
so that would be we do.
Okay.
So it's active. And then tain elethian.
Like that intense focus.
Oh, okay, yeah, alpha female, or alpha feminine, right?
Yeah.
First declension,
It's feminine, so it's
and it's alpha,
we're
right?
an alpha pattern down here.
That's right. Alpha patterns. Okay, so that would be.
The article tells you what case it is.
Yeah, so that would be accusative,
Good. Good.
and then it would be singular.
Yep.
So accusative singular, which would be just the truth.
Yep.
Or truth. So putting this together, it would be, is Kai and in this case, or in this sentence?
I don't know,
Um,
Adam. Is it? You gotta at least take a stab at it.
Yeah, we lie. And we do not the truth?
Good enough. Yep, that'll do. Yes. You can, and this is from 1 John, so John is talking about, when people say one thing and do another, right, with their moral conduct. We lie and do not practice the truth. So you could say practice instead of do here, because smooth it out a little bit more in English. But we lie and do not do the truth, or do not the truth if you're feeling very King James. If you say forsooth in sentences,
How King James would you?
you can do that. All right, who wants to take 4?
I'll
Sarah,
do it.
Dan. Okay, Dan.
I wanna take 7.
You want to take 7?
What?
We don't always get what we want, though, Eric. There's 5 right there. And everybody else is gone.
I mean, I can do 5.
We'll see, Okay.
Agapo ton theon.
Ton, theon.
Ton theon.
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 Okay, so the verb is agapo. And that is present, active, indicative, first person singular.
Correct. And what's the lexical form?
Is it agapo?
Is it agapo?
I'm gonna stick with it. You may be wrong, but yeah, I'm sticking with it.
Okay. It is a contract verb.
Okay. I can still get agapo out of a free contract.
Not if the contract verb includes a different vowel in the
Oh.
stem, like this one does. And there's a circumflex there indicating that there has been a vowel contraction, the first person active
Not
indicative.
always, though.
I can find a rule to get an agapo out of.
I don't think you can, especially because there is no agapo.
I didn't say I was right, I said I could find it.
There was another vowel there that contracted with the omega. You can use your textbook, I don't mind.
I have the vocabulary.
That's smart. I did that with my German textbook. I had like little sticky notes for all the glosses and vocabulary. I was like, I'm turning here like every 5 seconds.
Agapao.
Agapao.
Agapa.
Agapao.
Wait a minute, why isn't alpha and omega don't do a diphthong?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
No, in this case, the omega basically beats everything in a vowel contraction. I think it's why Plummer Plummer showed
yeah,
us.
I'm just back to the lexical form. That's, I've been pronouncing it wrong.
Happens.
Agapao.
It is a foreign language. You know, you will have rough, bumpy places in pronunciation.
Thankfully, you don't have to really speak it, so.
Yes.
You know,
Until
In this
JP
class, I'll
makes
make
you
you.
in class.
In this class, I'll make you.
so it's I love God.
Yeah. Good job. Straightforward sentence. I just thought it would be
Very
interesting.
good jump on that one.
Good job.
He probably even knew agapao.
Wait, what's the parsing on this one? Is it singular, second?
It's a present active indicative first person singular.
Because of the diphthong.
No diphthong. It's just a regular omega ending here.
Oh.
It's kind of like you learn all these verbs with the omega ending, and then we never see them. And so it's just kind of like, wow, it's an actual present active indicative first person singular. I'll be darned.
Well, it
There
says the same thing as lulo, right?
Yeah, if you, I don't know. Yeah,
Well-
I would probably fall over if I actually saw lulo in lexical form in the text.
So-
I would just be like, there it is.
So agapao in the wild looks like this.
Yes.
So the A just, the alpha just disappears.
Right.
It's
The reason it's
contracted.
important to know about that being part of the stem though is because in other conjugations you will get a vowel contraction that looks different. And so in the present active indicative first person singular, it actually looks like what you would expect the lexical form to be. That's why it's tricky. But if you look in other conjugations, that alpha at the end is going to contract with the other vowel to produce something else. And so you have to keep that in mind. It's important to know. Especially you get to like the aorist, you'll have an alpha where you would expect an eta, for
Because
instance.
for some reason I was thinking the imperfect like ooh.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh wait, there's no augmented.
No, alpha contractions are a lot rarer, in my opinion. Most of them are eta or epsilon or okay, number 5. Zarek, you're up.
Okay, so ha theos agape estin.
Good job on pronunciation.
Is it he is the God of love? He is. It is the love of God.
Oh, he crossed his arms. Uh-oh. Oh, we've done
What
it now.
cases are we dealing with here with the nouns? Because you got the verb right, estin, so you clearly, actually parse estin and then we'll talk.
Okay, so it's third person singular present indicative.
That's right, and what's our lexical form?
Amy?
That's right, good job. Okay, so he, she, or it is, so how do we know, well actually let's talk then, what cases are these two nouns in? So we've got ha theos and we've got agape, right? We see a masculine noun, we see a feminine noun, so what are we dealing with?
What are cases again? I'm not very good at parsing.
Okay, so the cases would be the endings of the nouns that tell you is it the subject, is it the object, remember nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, those are invocative are our cases.
Not. So like whether they're nominative or blah 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 for the endings of the os and agape.
Yeah, so is it a nominative, is it dative, genitive, accusative?
I have. Is it nominative? I don't.
What makes you think it'd be nominative?
Honestly, I don't know. I
You think? Because I actually think you know more than you think you do, because you identified certain aspects of the sentence pretty quickly. So I think the understanding's there, Eric. Don't let it psych you out. Think about it for a moment. The nominative is the subject case, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what tells us who is doing what in a sentence. You know, datives are going to tell us kind of something instrumental or indirect object, right? To or for somebody. The accusative will be the object of the action. The genitive is where you're getting like the of language from. And so let's think back to our paradigm, right? For masculine, right? You know, lagos, lagu, lago, lagon, lagoi, lagon, lagois, lagus, right? And then you have
Well, the us is obviously this. I mean, that's the subject. That's the guy they're talking about.
right, and it's got that nominative ending, right? So ha theos is. So that's the subject of estin. I think you're right about that. But what do we do with agape?
Agape is so. It's like. So. I'm trying to remember what you said about them, about nominative. So nominative is the subject.
That's right.
Then it goes dative.
Dative, genitive, accusative, or other cases. But remember, agape is a feminine here. So let's think back to the eta pattern, right? And our word was phone, right? We have phone, phones, phone, phonane, phonai, phonon, phonice, phonos. So here we have that eta ending, so we're actually dealing with another nominative. So we've got two nominatives in this sentence, which is kind of odd and tricky, especially with the to be verb here.
There's only 3 words.
Yeah, there's 3 words technically. I guess ha is sort of its own word, but you could say 4.
Okay, so I mean, it would start out like with Eston. It would start out like he is.
It could also be, it could be God is, or it could
God
be
is.
love is.
Yeah.
So either one is actually possible here. So
like God is. I want to say the God of love, but I don't know if that's.
not of. So there's no, without a genitive there, we wouldn't want to supply the word of. So, because that would be something different than what John is saying. But you're on the right track. God is, what is a really commonly quoted Bible verse when we talk about God? This is actually that verse.
I mean, God is. I don't know.
You're really close there. God is, well, the other word in the sentence is love, right? So
Yeah.
God is what?
God is love.
God is love. Okay, this one is tricky, right? Because you have 2 nominatives. Good job, at least, Eric.
Because the way I was thinking is, I thought I was gonna repeat God again in the same sentence. So I was trying to like see how I could put that again.
Together. Right, because it's kind of, it feels like there's almost something missing from the sentence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel it. So let's talk a little bit about something. When you have to be verbs like estin, and you have a subject, right? Like in this case, it's theos. Really, what's interesting about the sentence in general is we have a pair of nominatives, right? We have 2 nominatives, and we know that agape can't really be modifying theos apart from any kind of verb or anything, because they're both nominatives, and they don't agree on, gender. So this can't be modifying it. And it's not like, it's not in a different case. So like if it was going to be the God of love, then you would expect it to be agapes, right? You would see something like that. So when you're dealing with those nominatives, either one could be the subject of the verb, right? It could be love is God is potentially a possible grammatical translation of the sentence because they're both in the nominative. When Greek was dealing with situations like this to disambiguate, to kind of tell you which one's the subject, one of the most common ways is to look for which of the nominatives has the article. And theos does. So we have a reason to believe that theos is the subject. Also, proper nouns, pronouns, those things tend to have a higher priority. Like, okay, when you're dealing with an ambiguous construction like this, that has a higher priority of being the subject. So God is the subject. When you're dealing with to be verbs and you have your subject, the things that are predicated of the subject that follow the verb, it's almost always another nominative when you have a to be verb. So if you're saying something about the subject, So it's what's called a predicate nominative. And it was mentioned very briefly early on in the textbook, and I think one of the lectures might have talked about it, I can't recall, but I know the textbook does. When you're introduced to a means, some other things, it operates by a different set of rules, because you're predicating something attributive, something about the subject here, you're saying something about the person. And so, if it was saying he was a wealthy man, like man would be in nominative, wealthy would be nominative, and you would have a to be verb there. So this one's kind of tricky, and I'm glad we had the chance to kind of walk through it, get a little refresher on the cases and stuff like that. That was probably, I imagine, kind of helpful. Any other questions about this? It's
What's the
tricky.
lexical form of this verb?
Eston, it's Amy.
So,
It's, please say that again slower, maybe put some more words between the.
The
Explain
lexical
this
form,
more.
lexical form of Eston is Amy, so I am. So Eston is it is, or he is, or shit, there she is. So it's our to be verb from a few chapters ago.
Thank you.
Good.
Those ones trip me up in the homework all the time because I'm like, is this a verb?
Right. Yeah, and it doesn't look the same as some of the other ones. You'll learn in the very last chapter of this textbook about something called me verbs, and you'll be like, that looks like a me, and that's because a me is
So-
kind of a me verb. So
I just had a really dumb question.
there are no dumb questions. Even if
If
you
you
forgot,
go to number
even if you've
42.
forgotten chapter 1, you haven't asked a dumb question.
42 in the book.
So agape in
It has
Greek
the-
is
yeah.
both a noun and a verb.
There are two different words, agapao and agape, but they
Okay.
have the same root.
Okay.
So they are
okay.
from the same word group and word family. So
Okay.
yeah, like agapao would be the verbal form of agape.
Okay, I
Yes.
just noticed that.
Yep,
I'm surprised they didn't make us write
they
the
are cognates.
imperfect Amy paradigm in the test.
Yeah, it might show up on the midterm.
Oh boy.
Oops. That's what I was stressing about. I'm like, I can't remember it.
You better remember.
And then we.
I mean, don't
test,
get
I was
me
like,
wrong.
yes.
The midterm will be in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Just
So,
so-
okay. So who wants to take number 6? Derek, did you have another question, real quick?
Yeah, just one more thing, kind of off topic, but, so let's say for number 7, I mean, so I know understanding the language is like good and all, but if you already know, like if you already have memorized a certain part of the scripture and you already know what it means, can you just, is it easier to just memorize that and kind of drag it over?
That's a great question. Actually, that's a terrific question, Derek. So one of the things you might find, and I had the same experience, right, when I'm studying Greek, where I'm like, I just happen to know a lot of portions of Scripture. Well, this is why many exams at Southern Seminary in the Greek program don't grade your translations, which sounds crazy, but it's because a lot of students there just read the Bible all the time, and they're like, oh, I know this passage.
Yeah, I saw number 7. I'm
That's
like, ah.
not the same thing as actually knowing Greek.
Yeah.
So if you were to go and memorize all of the English, you would be able to ace the exams, and then you would sit down in front of the Greek New Testament and have absolutely no idea what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it would definitely be better to just focus on translating. Like now, it can help you in the learning process though, because if you know a lot of the Bible, it kind of gives you like handholds to hold on to. Where like the part that might be frustrating, you're like, oh, I know what that is, and then you're looking at it in the Greek, and you can figure out how you got from there to there, and that can be really helpful. So as long as you're using it the right way, you're not relying on that to kind of like cheese the test.
Kind of reverse engineering in some places.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on the flip side, let's say I'm still gonna learn, how to understand all the definitions, like, or parsing it. But if you like memorized passages from the Greek New Testament, like just memorize it and memorize the meaning of it, do you necessarily have to understand the stuff behind it? Like, could you just go and memorize it and just memorize what it means?
I mean, you certainly could do that, and get value out of it. I think it would sort of defeat the purpose of what we're trying to get at, though, because you want the understanding. But memorizing scripture in Greek will only help you. So even just going down, sitting through, memorizing it, you'll be mentally just engaging with the Greek. So if that's something you'd like to do, I say go for it. I say absolutely go for it. Memorizing it even in English and in Greek may give you some handholds to hold on to there. I would never discourage someone from doing that. I think the big thing is as long as you're using the English translation like in a way to help improve your understanding of Greek as opposed to just relying on it, I think it's kind of hard to go wrong.
Okay.
So if that makes sense, Eric.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And like I say too, like, don't be afraid to ask any question. Even if you're like, oh, I forgot something I should have learned weeks ago and I'm embarrassed, please ask. Like, the point of this is not to prove that we're all super smart. The point of this is to learn Greek and like,
I'm here to prove
Um,
I'm smart.
you are.
That's why I'm here.
But like, for me, I just care that you guys get it in the long run. So you will not disappoint me. You will disappoint me if you just never ask questions and you sit there feeling sad and embarrassed. I'll be very sad myself because I want to help you. So
Yeah.
that's my goal. So who wants to take number 6?
I don't wanna take it, but I will, unless somebody else wants to take it.
Brave Nola stepped up to the plate. All right, Nola, 6 is all yours.
Okay, Gnosket,
Get
Which is-
Katet, but close enough.
which is, knowledge, to know the grace, which the grace is the genitive, no. Yes, it's genitive.
Are you
No,
sure?
it's accusative.
There we go.
It's accusative.
Sorry,
Um,
we're cooking.
know the grace,
Two.
to, curio, the Lord.
Kurio.
What?
Kurio.
Curio, the Lord.
There we go. And Hamon
Hamon.
is just our. It's a
Our.
pronoun.
I don't know this next word, but the last one is curio. Oh, curio. What? No. It's
The grace of our Lord
Christo. Jesus.
Jesus Christ. Jesus
Yes.
Christ. Yes.
Okay, so the verb in this sentence is the no one, the
That's right.
first one.
Parse it for us, Nola.
Okay, it is a present,
All must parse.
present active, plural. Second person plural.
Yep, that's right. And it's indicative, which I know.
So you guys know the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ.
There you go. Good job. Gold star, Nola.
Gold star.
Gold star. You can tell Charles all about it.
We do in Sunday school.
We sure do. We're just being handed out.
One of his most fatal mistakes, deputizing me in the year of our Lord 2017 to distribute
He
gold
says
stars.
it was a temporary one day thing.
He never revoked it.
Yeah.
It's too late now.
Yeah, it is too late now.
He can't now. Like, my gold stars are even more coveted than Charles's because you have to earn them in Greek class.
That's true.
All right, and Derek, did you still want to tackle verse number 7? You don't have to. You took on 5, but if you'd like to, it's yours
Sure.
since you claimed it earlier.
Amy, hey, Hodos, Kai, hey, Alethea, Kai, hey, Zoe,
Zoe, close.
Zoe. I always get confused with that.
And then the hodos, not hodos, but very, very smooth readings there. Good job.
I am the way and the truth and the life.
There you go. There you go. Let's talk about this again here for a moment too, because what's interesting is Eric ended up with both of the sentences here that deal with Amy and a whole bunch of nominatives. You see that? So, hey, hodos, Amy, so I am the way and the truth and the life. Right? You see it again, the predicate nominative, that's the technical term for it, it shows up. It's just, it seems to be that natural gravitation in Greek. When you're predicating something about the subject, like describing the subject as opposed to telling you what he's doing, you get it in the nominative case. Now sometimes you may also get predicates that are genitive, and like for example, to go back to 5, if it said he is the God of love, it would have been hotheos agapes estin. So you could still have that sort of construction as well. So just thought that was worth refreshing.
So hadas doesn't change,
Hey hodos. What do you mean?
because like, hey, because, I mean, I'm typically used for like, hey, Alethea, or hey, Zoe. So does the hey not change the hadas?
Hodos is an irregular noun. So remember we learned about methetes, right, a little while back? It's the same kind of thing. Yeah. And so it is irregular. Some people call them hybrid nouns. It's a wild man. So words that are very common have a tendency to experience these sorts of things.
I mean, I would recognize that and know it's saying the way, but I wouldn't be able to tell really if it's like genitive or accusative.
In this particular case, it's actually nominative, so,
Right.
because you have the article to give you the.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
And that's why I say when the article's there, it really is the DNA test. It's important though to know that the improper, the irregular nouns exist. It's really important to know that because, for example, it's possible for a noun to appear, or an article to appear in front of a noun that it has nothing to do with. It's possible that the object of the noun that belongs to the article could actually be at the end of the sentence.
That's not fair.
No, it's not fair at all. So sometimes you get constructions like that.
Is it for an irregular one like that, like Hadas? Is there always gonna be
An article?
an article in front of it? No?
No, there will sometimes be, it'll appear without articles periodically, but it'll have a normal noun ending. So notice how it has the os of the masculine nominative ending, right?
Yeah.
So if you didn't see the article, you'd probably just assume it was, oh, it's just a masculine, it's actually feminine in this particular case.
Oh, man.
So,
That's fun.
actually, it's kind of neither nor, it's sort of frustrating. Sort of noun.
Just
Alright.
a little bit.
Who wants to take,
I'll
Eight.
take it.
okay,
So it's huios,
huios,
to anthropou, hupage, kathos, geg, wow, that is a weird word. Raptai?
raptai, that's right.
Is there any silent words in Greek?
I don't
Like
think
silent
so.
letters?
I don't think so. No, yeah. I don't think so.
So it would be huios, that would be the sun.
The sun.
So nominative singular. To anthropou. So oh, stop.
No, my bad. Actually, my bad.
Oh.
I'm bending over because I'm old.
So to anthropou. So that's genitive,
That's right.
singular.
Correct. The son of.
So and then hupage, that comes from hupago,
That's right.
which is I come, or like I go, I depart, come kind of thing. One of those words.
Oh, the Greek life.
So it's, let's see.
You guys are going to be Greek experts someday. You're going to look back on this. You're going to laugh.
So the verb there is third person singular present active indicative according to the chart.
According to the chart. What does Ashley say?
That's what I say. Who am I to disagree with the chart?
I feel like this one's on a prior homework.
It was.
Kathos,
It was. I recycled it.
kathos,
Ah.
which is
It was much easier to copy and paste it.
just as, so just as it is written, okay. So the Son of Man is coming / going out just as it is written.
Good job.
Okay.
Good job. Gold star.
Can you, it is written,
Yes.
what tense are we looking, can you parse that?
Yeah, it's a perfect active indicative, actually not perfect, perfect passive indicative, third person singular from grapho. So it's actually true passive, it's perfect. So grapho is the verb, and that get there is the reduplication of the perfect. So, but you don't even know that right.
I was gonna say, that's
perfect.
thank you.
It's perfect the way it is.
There.
So is there like, does it keep on going like just as it is written and like some other, does it like recite something else in the passage?
There is more, the Son of Man is going just as it is written. There's more to the context here, but it is talking about the Son of Man, I believe, going to his crucifixion.
Yeah, because I was wondering if that last part, just as it's written, could be put before it, but it couldn't if there's, you know, if they're quoting something else or.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
with the, that's a good question, Eric, actually. No, I think in this particular case, you would probably want to have it at the end of the sentence. You could say just as it is written, the Son of Man is going. Like, you could translate it that way. It's a little clunkier in English, but it's viable.
Yeah.
So, good instinct. Good.
It sounds more biblical that way though, I think.
And the thing is, higraptai is one of those verbs that you will see like a bazillion times in the New Testament. Because how many times you read, it is written, it is written, it is written. This is actually a great moment to talk about stative aspect, right? We talked about imperfective and perfective aspect, right? So imperfective, the ongoing action. Perfective, it's completed. And then unhelpfully, perfective aspect does not have anything to do with perfect tense in Greek. And it's stative, right? And when you think about it, something being written down, you would use a perfect verb for that because you wrote it down and now it's written down, it stays there. So there's just a moment to talk about the aspect. All right, let's take number 9. Adam, take it away.
So obviously, this is imperfect indicative. Well, first part, let me say that.
Which
Ikrazon.
verb? Ikrazon? Okay.
Ikrazon. So that's imperfect indicative.
Active or passive or middle?
Active.
There we go.
I don't know if it's singular or plural. Based off of what I know about Mark 3, it's most likely plural. They are crying out. They were crying out.
Are you sure? It doesn't matter. No, keep going. I was gonna bust your chops. I'm like, just get the rest. There's more going on in this sentence. So
So they were crying out, saying, "Legantes, legantes."
yeah, legantes. That's a
And
participle.
then hoti, that, and then you is you, and then a, that's you are, ha, huas,
Huios.
huias,
Huios.
huias, ha,
Pronunciation police are
ha,
in.
huias, right? The son, and then tu theu is of God. So they were crying out, saying that you are the Son of God.
There you go. There you go.
Nice.
Chop busting time. Just kidding.
And I believe it is plural. So you have legantes, which is a plural, I think. Present active, participle, plural, nominative. Not very plural. Lego movie, singular. All right. Who wants to take the last one?
I got it.
Dan, take it away.
Okay, so our verb is, erkaeto.
So
Is it air or air?
it's Eric.
Eric.
And then how do we
Eric
pronounce
Eto.
how do we pronounce that last few letters?
Well, I pronounce it eto.
It's Erkata. Erkata.
Ata.
Erkata.
Eric.
It's hard to unsee the Omicron as an English O.
Yeah, it's a challenge, isn't it?
Okay.
But as long as I'm here, I'll continuously point it out.
That's fine. Appreciate it. I think there's another verb there right after the chi.
Sure is.
Didask.
I need a heating pad for my back.
Didasco, from Didasco.
Yep.
All right, so it's the crowd was going to him.
Oh, I'll take that.
And and he was teaching them. The crowd was going to him and he was teaching them.
That's right. Yeah, good job. Gold star, Dan. Excellent work.
Woo, you got it
You
too.
did it.
Yeah.
My pronunciation is going backwards though.
It happens. It happens.
I mean, I start saying out, oot now.
I have noticed that there are, sometimes you guys will apply accents to it. And I'm like, where are these accents coming from? Like, I didn't teach you this. It just feels like there should be one, you know what I mean with the Greek? All right, well, good job, guys. We're done for the week. You will have the distinct joy of